Hi everyone. Okay, so I did talk about this before and then lost somewhere, so I'm just doing it in a different way. So, what I'm talking about is uh, everybody is asking me, will this coronavirus go away? Will this? Okay, the only way I can answer it is what I call elementally, and so I can just tell you where everything is. Yeah, I know, I'm touching my face. Okay, so the first thing is you've got to understand is there is the nine squares for those of you that don't, and the nine squares are the basic low shoot as we call it. So the basic is where you don't need to eat, you don't need to breathe, and you don't need to clothe, and that's what we call the Garden of Eden, maybe, or we also can call that when you're not around, when you're dead. And so that's what a lot of people do is the Bagua, and the Bagua has only these little numbers that you can see, okay? So each of these squares ends up with 5 numbers, and as a Bagua, you're using what's there for the house of the dead, not the house of the living. So what the workshops that I do every year and what kind of work I do is Feng Shui, it's Chinese astrology, I Ching, Qigong, etc. So for the year, this year, what the energies are for this year is that in the south there is ill health, in the east there is difficulty and obstacles. Now that difficulty and obstacles is also destructive. Okay, that came in Tuesday the 4th for the year of the rat. But the year of the rat actually came in December the 7th last year. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're talking. In the center is the energy that is there is what we call a broken army. In a broken army, it represents the mouth, it represents the lungs, it represents inflammation of the trachea and the lungs. So when I first spoke about this in the first workshop in December, we had the bushfires here in Australia. They weren't at their peak. They had kind of just begun. And so people were saying to me, how is this going to happen all around the world? Well, our bushfires and the Amazon fires went around the world twice. Don't ask me how, Google it. Okay. And then we got the coronavirus. So there it is. What we call these numbers are the laws of nature. So whatever nature is bringing us for every year or every month, it tells us via the low shoe. It is called a magic square, not as in watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat, but it is a magic square. And in the West this year we have the nine. The nine is fire, it's inflammation. Okay, so then in the North we have what we call the Grand Duke. So you can't face him without putting a remedy. So this is the basic. These are the yearly, and then we have the monthly as well. So every month we know where it's going next, world scale. Okay. So with this told us that the minute Tuesday, February 4th comes in, it's destruction in the east. There's ill health in the south, which, on that scale of the magnetic, etc., Australia eventually will be the south type of thing. All right. Again, Google it. Don't send me those sort of questions. Happy to answer a lot of questions, but not that. And it's also telling us, as I said, this is what's going on. The beauty of this is it's telling us in the center of every single home, you actually have the potential to spread the virus. That number in the 7 is also called a broken army. So you can break your own home, you can break your own suburb, you can break your own province, you can break your own government, that kind of thing, from what comes out. And that can also be the coughing, the sneezing, etc. So that's how, from the beginning of the year and what the year represents, that's how you're going to know that, yep, it's going to affect my lungs. And then the fire, the corona, etc., you take better care, especially if you already have these issues. Okay. So then comes the months. And why is it not, well, why is it that some countries have felt it before other countries? Is because some are not taking their blinkers off and listening. So for us in Australia, we had the bushfires and our leader was not leading very, very well. But thank God he learnt from that, and now he's put something in place. So we no longer are going to cop it now from the fires and now from the coronavirus. We're going to, wait it out, etc. So the months is, I do have a calendar that comes out every year, and it tells you what's going on every single month. So the year is a metal rat. Now the metal is the lungs, it's the skin, so you're not allowed to touch your face. It's already here. The law of nature is already here. So in March, what it's telling us in March is every page has it is basically this, but I've just made it into the 45 degrees of each one, and it tells you where it's going to next. So in March, it actually mimics the year. So more is going to happen here in the east, more in the south, more in the west, and the north are getting there. Okay, so that's how it works. And then you will look at it. Let's say I live in Melbourne. I will look at the east of Melbourne. There's a lot of destruction. The south of Melbourne, there's a lot of ill health and female trouble. In the west, it's a good energy, but it adds to the inflammation. And then here in the center of every home, we have that. So as I am talking, it's hailing outside. Yeah, we have 4 seasons in one day. Okay, so the thing with this is the 2, the 7, and the 9, they actually join. And when they join, they make more fire, more inflammation, which means wherever they join, that is basically the worst. So south, central anything, central China, central the world, that sort of thing, and the west. So the west is the US, etc., etc. That side, the way I'm sitting and looking at the world map, it's that side. All right. Okay, and so then that is also telling us that it is going to be huge in the West. And so it's only a couple of days ago that the leader of the US has said that, yep, it's already in 46 states. Okay, so before there was a blame thing, etc., just like ours did, our leader did, but now, yeah. So where do you think this year there will be the most damage? These 2, because that is destruction. Actually 3. This is a broken army, and this is huge inflammation. It's out of control. Okay, so if you look at the world, east, west, and central, yes. The 2 here, yes, also when it's with all of these. So if you have a look here, there's also that 9. So when we get a month that has the 7 in the south, which this month it's in the center, okay, and it won't be in the south for a while. It's going northwest next. So when the 3 are together in one area, this does not include your home. This is just the basic, the yearly, and then the monthly, okay? So if you're wondering, okay, in April, where is it going next? Well, that destructive energy will stay there, of course, but there's an additional direction, and it's the southeast in April. That's where destruction is. The northwest is where this moves to, and in the northwest we already have lung issues, so that doubles up in the month. Then in the north, where we already have what we call the Grand Duke, it's the leader of the rat is where it's residing in that direction. It's called the Grand Duke. So if you sit facing him, there's a lot of issues. But the ill health is going here. Now, with this, the energy there is water. The year is already water. So the rat is shrewd. It's conniving. It's communication. But it's also, if you look at water, it's beautiful and blue, mirroring the sky. But no one knows what's down here. The depth of it is very, very deep. That means it's fear, because you don't want to wade in. You're too fearful. That's what the year is as well. So I did say in my workshops also that May brings some fire. The fire means, because the year is metal and water, when fire comes in, it molds the metal. Yes, we don't all carry coin today, but when this originated, coin is that energy, fire molds the metal. So yes, money will go up that little bit. And I've said to everybody, if you want to sell anything, then May, June, July. That's it. Okay. But now I've posted it before on the Facebook page at fengshui.salwa if you're looking. That the warmer weather is going to make it die out. No, because it can actually stay there for 5 weeks as a contagion without you realizing you have it. So the warmer is not because it's not your normal everyday flu. Okay, so that is why. So the next place in May, where is it going? Then it tells us that in the west, here, in the west, this becomes here. So there's a 777 and there's the 9 for the year. And yes, so you can see what I'm saying is the east and the west are the ones that are going to cop it more this year. And then in 5 years, someone will make a movie and then we'll know the truth. Okay. But when you sneeze and when you cough, that's it's the communication where this comes from, is from where you communicate. And that's what the water is. And the metal is the orifice, your mouth, what comes out of your mouth. So be kind to people because you can't take it back. Okay. That's all I've got to say. So I had to redo it because the other one was lost. If you are interested, this is the calendar. It's the metal rat. And then what I do is I also then personalize it for your bad days, good days, etc. And every month tells you what it's all about. And that is it. So if you are interested in more, there's plenty on the YouTube channel. It's Ministry of Feng Shui. Have an amazing day.